Hey there, my name is Julie Fei-Fan Balzer, and I am a painter, a printmaker, and a collage artist, and welcome to my studio. So last week, was it really? No, it was like 2 days ago, I taught a big class here at my home studio on different golden paints and mediums, and it was absolutely fantastic. We had tons of fun. We worked on some collaborative art that we ended up turning into some concertina books. We did tons and tons of samples because we played with so many different golden supplies. But now, of course, what that has meant is I am cleaning up and I have to put everything away. And rather than just sort of like take everything and junk it away, I decided that it would be a great idea, since people obviously used a ton of art supplies, to try to consolidate what's left and to try to, well, you'll see, I'm going to make a new art supply out of what pretty much seems like garbage. So today I am doing something very boring, but oops, very necessary, which is I'm taking a lot of the smaller bottles of things that I have that are pretty empty and decanting them into the larger bottles I have, which are, maybe halfway full. I see no reason any longer to have all these different sizes of the same thing. I bought these little bottles when I was first getting started making art, and now I never buy this size bottle because I know that it's just not enough paint for me. Okay, but I'm not going to throw this away because I'm going to show you a trick with it. So you can see I'm doing the same thing with all my materials. Like, this is tar gel, and I just have the two jars upside down on top of each other so that the tar gel from this one can slowly drip into this container. But this way I'm getting rid of all my excess containers. So into this small bottle, which has, a touch of paint in it, but not really a lot, I'm going to basically fill it with fluid matte medium. Why am I doing this? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Because one of the things I use all the time is a glaze. A glaze is a transparent application of paint. And this is a very dark paint and not that, semi-transparent, but not as much as I'd like. So basically I'm going to use up what's left in here and also create a glaze at the same time. So I'm just shaking it up to make sure that everything is really well mixed. And then I'll demonstrate on top of this gelatin print. Okay, so this is the paint out of the bottle. Looks great. And now here is the glaze. And hopefully what you can see is that the glaze is more transparent than the paint, and it's still a beautiful dark blue. And now I can use this, and I've sort of got a brand new bottle of paint. As a side note, I will take a permanent marker and write glaze on the outside of the bottle so that when I pick this up, I know that I'm getting a glaze and not an actual bottle of paint. So here you can see a collection of some of my paints that are glazes. I did put pink tape on a lot of these at some point, along with writing glaze, so they'd be easy to identify. Like, if I look at this bottle, I know it's not a glaze. It doesn't have pink tape. If I look at this, I know that it is. I also have a section for bottles that I've turned into washes. And washes are when you add water instead of gel medium, and it gives more of a kind of watercolor look. Actually, I have an example I'll show you. So of the like bajillion techniques that I shared at this weekend's class, one of them was the difference between a glaze and a wash, and everybody made these binders that are packed with sample sheets. So I'll get the glaze and wash one to show you. Here you can see they're both lighter than the original color. A wash is a little bit more like kind of a watercolor look. And glaze definitely looks like acrylic paint, where even though it's dry, you can see the brush strokes, the ridges, the thin and the thick, all that kind of stuff. So this is a pretty ugly piece of collage paper on rice paper. And the really fun thing is that I can take a glaze. Here you go. Here's one of my pre-made glazes. And I can totally transform this paper because glazes are transparent, right? So I can still see through what's happening. And depending on which color glaze I pick, that will change how my piece of paper looks. And if I use a wash, it'll be transparent, but will kind of avoid the acrylic paint a little bit and sink more into the paper. Now, one of the things to note is that the glaze pretty much stayed on top of the paper, whereas the wash really soaked through, and that's the difference between adding gel medium and adding water to your little paint leftovers. And so here is a sample page that I made where you can see how each of these glazes transforms this blue and white flowered piece of paper so that you could get very different results all from one piece of paper. It's like almost like having a filter or something, like a color filter that you put over something. Thanks so much for watching. If you want more great tips and tricks, I hope you will check out myartpractice.com. That's my monthly membership site. I hope you'll give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel.